We are live. Verizon permitting. Their connection has been really awful lately. But here we're. Okay, do not disturb. Downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. I think. Now, assuming that the internet connection remains stable, do a little live chat this morning. It's a little after 7 in the morning. It's been cold overnight. I mean, 40 degrees cold, and then 80 degrees in the afternoon. That's Fahrenheit. I don't do Celsius. I sometimes ask Google to convert it for me. The world has gone nuts. Some very public figures have been charged with crimes. I don't think you'll see much about it in the mainstream media, but apparently the major figures of the Obama administration and the Biden administration are facing trials for crimes, including Obama himself, Hillary Clinton, Merrick Garland, Adam Schiff, all kinds of people. Having to do with sabotaging the first term in office of Donald Trump. I don't know. It's all over the social media, but I don't think you'll see much on CNN or MSNBC. They are claiming that Obama ordered the FBI to make up a story about Russia and Trump, and the FBI complied with that order. That's what they're claiming. So is it possible that the Epstein brouhaha is distraction from the Epstein debacle? No. It's getting crazier and crazier. You know, I'm just a recovering English teacher, but I suspect that they're all crooks. That's what Dad used to say about politicians. They're all crooks. I remember President Nixon's famous line, "I am not a crook." He resigned in the midst of impeachment hearings. His successor, Gerald Ford, pardoned him before the impeachment hearings were over. So he was impeached but in the House, but not convicted in the Senate. I think Ford was Nixon's third pick as vice president. The first one, I think that would Spiro Agnew resigned, and Nixon appointed Rockefeller, I think. I don't know, Nelson Rockefeller. I don't know. He resigned. Both of them under pressure. So he named Gerald Ford. Ford became president for about 2 years. Ran against Jimmy Carter and lost. Now, Jimmy Carter was a good man, but a terrible president, and I believe he was sabotaged. Then, fast forward to the 2000s, 2016, Trump wins. And 2020, well, 2019 there were rumors, but 2020 it was established that COVID was here. And it was that it did kill millions around the world. But things didn't get really dicey till after the 2020 election. And our country was mostly shut down to try to stop the spread. And vaccines, in air quotes, they're not really vaccines, they're something new. Well, anyway, they were developed and distributed, and in many cases required. Now, I'm used to vaccine requirements in some cases. For example, when I was a child, in order to attend school, I had to have some vaccines. Polio is the one I remember. It was apparently a brand new thing. I was 6 years old, and in order to attend first grade classes, I had to have the polio vaccine, and the schools gave them for free. You didn't have to go to your doctor. You'd have the injection and the little sugar cube. So both Salk and Sabin vaccines. And then in fifth grade, so I would have been 10 years old, the school gave us all shots for smallpox. Apparently, they don't do the smallpox vaccination anymore. They say they've wiped out smallpox. And yet, from time to time, you hear a warning that some enemies of the United States might introduce smallpox, and nobody's had the vaccine for it yet. So I guess the vaccine exists, it just isn't required. And somewhere along the line, I had it was also fifth grade, the DPT shot. Oh, hi, Freeman, welcome in. I read your things you inserted into my story about the mirror cracked. It's very creative and futuristic. And of course, not the sort of thing I write, but it's good. You missed me just babbling about all these charges being levied against, let's see, Adam Schiff, Barack Obama, Merrick Garland, and others. It's too damned hot? Freeman. I'm cold. It's been cold overnight. 40 degrees overnight and then in the 80s in the afternoon. I'm just hoping that the internet connection holds up. Anyway. Oh, man. August 12th, I finally get to see a dermatologist about my skin cancer. Still don't have an appointment for surgery. Although I'm not looking forward to surgery, it's going to be necessary. This thing on my lip interferes with eating and drinking. Stuff falls out of my mouth, so I always have to have napkins handy. God. Let's see. I talked briefly about how Jimmy Carter was sabotaged. That's my belief. I can't prove it, but other people can. Well, Freeman, you're number one in the top fans, but no one else is chatting with me. So the world has gone nuts. Canada is standing up to the United States. Just because we failed to, our invasion in 1812 failed, they think they won the war. Well, that was because the Americans thought that the Canadians would join them in their revolt against England. A guy in Utah is going to the firing squad. Well, to my mind, if you get the death penalty, that really is the only humane way to administer the sentence. The other methods they use are barbaric, and that includes the injection. It happens to be painful and not as fast as you think it is. Oh, wow. Oh, are you referring to that guy in New York who lived in some other state and made some improvised devices and took them to New York? People are nuts, but everything is nuts. The Lululemon stores are doing nothing about shoplifting by these flash mobs. All they're doing is increasing their prices to cover the losses by getting it from their customers who pay. No, they're supposed to. The firing squad is supposed to hit the heart. I don't think a headshot would be doable. They actually put a little red heart on the convicted person's jacket or shirt to show them where to aim. I'll give you an example. Recently, an off-duty ICE agent in New York was shot in the face, and he survived. He's in the hospital, but he's surviving. He is not going to lose his life. Hi, Pio. Welcome in. Lord, the world is crazy. So Canada is standing up to the U.S. Yeah, it's a huge country in terms of land, but in terms of population, I guess they have as many people as California, which is only one of our 50 states. We have a deal with England, the United Kingdom. We have a deal with Japan. We have a deal with Vietnam. Not sure where else we have deals. The European Union is being difficult. An amazing thing, by the way, about that ICE agent is that after he was shot in the face, he shot back and he got one of the two guys who were trying to rob him. Apparently, he was not in uniform. They just thought he was some civilian, foolishly out after dark in a crime-ridden city. Oh, wow. I'm getting some progress on my SSI, my disability for age. I should have been on disability for at least 10 years before I started Social Security, but the system is rigged against anybody who can form a sentence in English. I found that I could not do it physically and mentally. I'm still underweight. My back is falling apart. I'm now 6 inches shorter than I used to be. But anyway, first of all, they've done a new calculation and reduced the amount they want me to pay back. And second, it looks like they can take $10 a month out of future benefits instead of demanding over about $1,200 all at once. What I did, since I can't really navigate the system too well, is I asked my congressman to help. And of course, it wasn't over Nolte personally, it was someone in his field office talked to Social Security. about my problem. Oh, Morgan, welcome in. Well, once you turn 65 or go on Social Security as early as age 62, at least it was that way. Don't know how it is now. You're done. You can't get disability when you're retired. And apparently the poverty line now is a little over $1,600 a month. My Social Security is barely more than $700, which is another reason why I'm selling things. I'm downsizing anyway. Some things get donated to the seniors thrift shop because they aren't worth my time and effort to sell them. Some things go to fans of my husband, Philip K. Dick, the science fiction author. Some things I give away, and some things people pay for. I don't know how to report that. I put it on my income taxes, and I still end up not owing any federal income tax. So, because there are expenses and there are deductions, but it enables me to keep the internet on and a roof over my head. And then I have to scramble for things like the electric bill and the gas bill and the water bill. But I'm getting by. And I need to downsize because I have too much stuff and a tiny, tiny house. My house is basically 20 feet by 20 feet with a little thing we call a mud porch, so that when you come in out of the snow, you don't track snow and mud all over the house. So it's 438 square feet. The GoFundMe is doing okay. It's like 300 to 400 a month. I can't count on it. It's voluntary, but it looks like several people are donating every month. Some donate $5, and Freeman has instantly. Oh, back to court on the 31st. Wonder why they want to kick you out of your housing. The way California works, I have never gotten government assisted housing. Although one time I did rent a room with a lady who was on government assisted housing. I applied when my son was 3 years old, and by the time I was approved, I was no longer eligible. I was making too much money, including child support. His father was very good about that, and even gave us extra from time to time when we needed something. Tora, do you mind? Do ya? Say hi to your fans. She's just being a pest today. She wants to sit on the heating pad, but I have to sit on it. It's cold. Anyway, I've decided that 7 o'clock in the morning is a good time to go live because the darned internet tends to go down by 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, don't use those words in my chat, Freeman. Oh, she said hi to her fans. She gets treats. Here. As if you hadn't already had enough treats. Yeah, fat the water rat. Taurus fat. Tutu's too busy sleeping to ask for treats. Yeah, and her owie on her face has healed well without the surgery that would have cost almost, well, let's see, just a few pennies of $640 estimate. For help from Catch, but they're so slammed with requests they just couldn't do it. Anyway, she, with her ointment and being shut in the house where she wouldn't encounter other cats or germs, except for the cats that actually live here. Jorge, welcome in. Oh, wow. What a morning. I have one of those headaches, and I wonder if it's related to what I ate yesterday. I got ambitious and I took a potato and grated it. I cooked bacon, and then I cooked the hashed brown potatoes in the bacon fat in the pan. And then I I scrambled a couple eggs. I couldn't eat it. I ate as much as I wanted. Because of my headache. I have to take a pill to just a real meal. Let's see. That ain't it. That ain't it. Oh, no. Where is it? Where's the bottle? There, here it is. Can't get it in focus anyway. Here we go. Betaine, HCl, and pepsin. These are enzymes that help you digest your food if your stomach isn't acid enough. Well, workplaces are nut houses for sure. Oh, wow. The whole world is crazy. People getting charged with crimes and conspiracies and treasonous, conspiratorial, whatever. And they're saying this is worse than Watergate. Now I got hiccups. Well, I'm in a quiet rural mountain community, but I'm going to have to go down the hill to the flatland to renew my driver's license. I'm trying to get real ID, but you see, I was named Leslie when I was born, but Mom would not call me that because that was her mother-in-law's name. So she called me Tess. And it stuck. Now it's Tessa with an A on the end, because my husband decided that would be fancier. And it was something to do with an opera, a Spanish opera, in which the men are chasing women to find out which one they get to marry. And the one who gets Tessa says, "At length I have made a capture. It is Tessa, rapture, rapture." I don't think Pelosi's been charged. And she's obviously um, uh, unexplainably wealthy, considering her salary isn't that much. Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't read The Sand of Time, the Sean David Morton thing. I don't know that much about them. I do know that many people with ties to Washington, D.C. have mysteriously become no longer with us. YouTube doesn't like certain words. Mm-hmm. So, what the heck? Something weird about the chat. There we go. Now it's right. What else is going on? Who would have thought? We actually have a sort of deal with China, but not with Canada on trade. And yeah, free trade is a nice idea. It's really a good idea. The problem is, we've never really had it because other countries have tariffs and other trade barriers. We're supposed to do zero with Canada when they charge something like 150% on American dairy products and limit the amount you can import to them or export to them. No, I didn't watch the video, Freeman. I've already gained enough info about chatbots. They claim they're just using copyrighted works to train AI, but they're absolutely doing plagiarism. I've decided not to get too aggressive about my copyrights, but I do appreciate it when people ask permission to quote my work. I think that's the right thing to do, get permission. Red China, huh? Yeah, communist China. Well, I admire the Chinese people, but their government sucks. And I don't know why they think they have a right to Taiwan. Um, more than 90% Taiwan are either Japanese or native islanders. There are very few Chinese there. Hi, Jimmy. Welcome. Vegan is Jimmy. Yeah. Oh, I've allowed some people to publish an occasional short story or a poem without paying because it gets my name out there. But if you know, they put my name on it, they don't claim that they wrote it. Anyway, I've been pushing my surrealist novel, The Darkening of the Light. And I'd like to also push my novel, Fallen Angels, about a race of people who came to the earth in ancient times seeking refuge because their planet blew up. There's a link to my Amazon author page, at least in the US. It's in the description as well. I'm amazed that the internet is still working. Been on for 37 minutes. Canada, I don't know, even the Canadians are upset with their government. But they elected those people. We elected some people too, didn't we? There's this push for age limits in Congress. I'm sorry, but some of those octogenarians, 80-year-old people in the House and the Senate, are sharp as a tack and really honest and so forth. What they need is cognitive tests. Find out whether their brains are still working. And background checks. Shoot, I have to have a background check. I had to have a background check to teach English at a college. And I had to send my fingerprints to the FBI to teach English in a minimum security prison. These people in Congress ought to have background checks. They didn't elect, the guy Carney in Canada. Yeah, it was kind of rigged. But I'm not sure that where he's eating an apple and the reporter will ask him a question and he'll respond with another question. Like, can you define that term? What does it mean? Stuff like that. Yeah, they got rid of Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, but they got his evil twin. I think they're both evil twins. It's really a crazy world. I remember the 1960s when all the Americans, Democrat, Republican, even extremists on both sides, just hated LBJ, President Lyndon Baines Johnson. And many of us still believe that LBJ ordered what happened to President Kennedy. There's all kinds of credible stories of LBJ being a total, I can't even think of the right word, but disgusting. And mean. You think many of the first ladies look masculine? Well, I don't know if Hillary Clinton looks masculine, but she sure does look evil. And then there's Michelle Obama. She really is underweight. She shouldn't be so thin. It's bad for your health. And I ought to know because I'm underweight, doing everything I can to gain weight. Yeah, Kennedy was ready to pull us out of Vietnam, and then LBJ. And by the way, they never declared war on Korea or Vietnam or Afghanistan. I'm not sure about Iraq. I don't think we declared war. And we had troops on the ground and everything. I remember a British biographer. It never happened, but he was working on a biographical film about my husband. He asked me, when are we going to leave Iraq? I laughed. I said, well, when did we leave Berlin? When did we leave Okinawa? We gave back a military base to the Philippines after the volcano buried it. But we haven't even left Cuba. We don't leave. And sure enough, we're still in Iraq. I'm not sure about Afghanistan. I don't think we're there. So maybe we left one place out of the many. We have bases all over the world. We have bases in England and Germany and France, and I'm not sure about Belgium. Yeah, that's a good point, Jorge. Authors like Dean Koontz and Stephen King and Michael Crichton know too much and hide their secrets in works of fiction. And thinking of Crichton's The Andromeda Strain, in which a deadly virus gets loose, but then it mutates and ends up eating rubber instead of killing people. I remember something really interesting in an eerie sort of way. A spin-off from the X-Files called oh, come on, I can't think of the title anymore. Oh, the Lone Gunman. I think it was their first episode. They're on an airplane that's being hijacked and flown toward New York City. Well, then 9/11 happened and the Lone Gunman was canceled. Even though they probably made more episodes. That was strange. Well, I've lived through lots of strange times. I remember, I guess I was in my 50s, and my brother calls me often. And in one of our conversations, he brought up that our childhood home was infested. And he didn't, I thought he meant cockroaches. He didn't. He meant demons. And all those years, I had thought that I just imagined, because Mom insisted I just imagined things, weird, eerie things happening in that house. And I didn't even tell her about the worst things because she always dismissed me as kind of insane to even think such a thing happened. We had two when I was 8 years old, and both of those houses were infested, but the second one was worse. It had been our mother's home when my dad broke his back and jeez, connection unstable. It's coming back. Sort of. The connection is unstable. So anyway, yeah, I've been through strange times also with my husband when we were obviously under surveillance. And why? Because one time in the 1960s, Phil got a phone call from people who were at the hotel room in Canada where John Lennon and Yoko Ono got all their friends to join in singing Give Peace a Chance. And it was just because they wanted it. John Lennon and Timothy Leary wanted to tell Phil that they were big fans of his science fiction novels. Now, Phil was not under surveillance, but John Lennon's hotel room was. And that's where it all started. After that phone call, which was totally harmless, Phil was under surveillance and accused of all sorts of things that he was not doing. And the local sheriff wouldn't even tell Phil what he was suspected of. Oh, yeah, the Roseburgs children. And from E.L. Dr. Rose The Book of Daniel. Yeah. I saw the movie on TV. I think it was that movie. The Rosebergs, who apparently leaked secrets to Russia about our atomic bomb project. Their children were very young when they were unalived after being found guilty of treason. I think it's Rosenberg, with an N in there after Rose. Anyway, my connection is getting kind of unreliable, so I'm gonna I'm gonna get the day started. Yeah, Julius and Ethel. Something about a Jello box. Gosh, horrible. Yeah, well, anyway, Phil was wrongly surveilled, wrongly accused of he didn't know what, but they were sure he was dealing drugs to teenagers, and he was not. He wasn't even doing drugs unless the doctor prescribed them. Well, thank you all for being here. Wish I could stay, but you know, the sun's shining, the cats want to get fed and go out, and so forth. I got a lot to do, but I just love all the people who come and chat with me. You guys make my day every time. Thank you, Jorge and Freeman and Morgan and Pio. I don't think I saw Jason today. Yeah, well, the cats are napping, but I did see their ears kind of move when I said out. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, well, Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sorry, but I think in honor of Ozzy, I'm going to go to YouTube and play and listen to Crazy Train. I'm sorry you just came in at the end. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time I have enough internet connection and something to talk about. Bye.